Hey guys, Dr. Mike Deuce at MTFU. How are you? Today we're talking about bicep, building great biceps, great bicep development without injuring your wrist, your elbow, your shoulder, any of them, or all of them. So hey guys, we're talking about bicep today, and listen, you don't want to work your bicep and end up injuring yourself like so many people do. I'm going to show you the tips that I employ to avoid injuring the wrist or wrecking the elbow or, listen, shoulder joint, most mobile joint in the body, but with all that mobility, there's a lot of ways you can screw it up, and I see people do that all the time, trying to work the bicep, okay? So what are we looking at here now? We're looking at, well, if you talk about the wrist, okay, we got two bones in the forearm, okay, the radius, and we got the ulna, and you would hope that they're even at the wrist. They're not. Okay, the ulna is a little shorter. Evolution gave us a little disc in there to make up for the shortness and hopefully make the bones even. They're really not. You know, when you take a bar, a straight bar, okay, and you try to curl it, because of that unevenness in the bones, you're going to feel a little bit of an incongruency from side to side. You know, the wrist almost wants to turn in, and when you're using a straight bar, you have that uniform movement. You don't have the ability to turn your wrists in. So what I like to do to counteract that and only work the bicep, in other words, translate the weight from here into the bicep, is I like to use dumbbells. And what do? I turn the hands in a little bit, okay? So we're going along with that natural difference in lengths of the bones in the forearm, and we're curling just like so. We're feeling that all in the bicep, and that's really fantastic, because remember one point. When you go to the gym, you've got to decide, especially when you're over 40, men and women, I'm 56, I'm trying to build a muscle. Are you a mover of weight or are you a builder of muscle? Listen, I'm not going to be in the MMA. McMahon is not calling me for WWE, and I'm certainly not playing in the NFL at this stage of the game. So I'm looking to develop muscle. Strength comes afterward, but we're trying to develop a muscle. So when you're exercising, when you're doing a movement, you want to only feel it in the muscle. In this way, what I just demonstrated, we're getting away from that joint pain that you can experience in the wrist, and that could lead to damage. Second thing we're looking at is elbow pain, okay? We're not talking about lateral epicondylitis, which is tennis elbow. We're talking about medial epicondylitis, a little bone right here. And what happens when you start getting pain here when you're working the bicep? I'll tell you, people do this. They're curling a bar and they're bringing their hands up, and that's okay, but you notice how I'm bringing my hands up like that? I'm recruiting forearm muscle to get the weight up. So potentially you're using too much weight. You'll see that all the time out on the floor. People using tremendous amounts of weight, very little development. These are throwing the weight up and down. They're skipping the muscle. Oh, they're recruiting muscle from the forearm, deltoids, all that. In this case, when we're recruiting from the forearm, well, we're taxing this bone right here. And it creates tendonitis, very, very painful. So what do we do to get around that? I employ something called a spider grip, okay? The grip is not like this. The grip is like this. The hand is down like that. It takes the forearm muscles out, and it exerts all the force right on the bicep. And that's fantastic. So remember that mind-muscle connection is what we want. And you can really see the difference. If I turn to the side a little, you might be able to see it activate the bicep a little bit more. See how the hands are down? Now you can't do as much weight, but the bicep is not a big muscle, okay? It doesn't need that much work as far as volume. It doesn't need that much weight. It's a small muscle. It's a showy muscle. It can be pretty impressive, But again, if you're going too heavy, you see it all the time. People recruit from the deltoid. You'll see people do too much weight. They've got big deltoids, very little bicep development because they're skipping it. All right, so we talked about avoiding wrist pain, elbow pain, finally shoulder pain. What happens with the shoulder pain? Listen, you've got the bicep tendon, starts here, goes through the bicep, goes through a groove, the bicipital groove, transverse humeral ligament running over that, attaches way up here. It's a long ligament. Now, good way to work the bicep like that is, I don't have an incline bench here, but let's just say this is an incline bench and we're leaning back and the arm is in back of us. Well, that's fantastic, working the bicep like that. But again, you're stretching out the tendon way back here. And if you've already got a problem in the shoulder, you want to cause one, that can do it right there. So what do you want to do? You want to keep this tendon shorter. How do you do that? You do that by keeping the arm in front of you because the tendon is shorter. So let's try out a concentration curl, which looks like this. You notice I've got that spider grip again, okay? Taking the forearm out, and we're shortening the tendon, and you can see that bicep pop right out. I'm not using a lot of weight here, just really making the lighter weight feel heavy. And you notice I hold it at the top, I let it come straight down. There's no momentum, okay? And we're not taxing that bicep tendon like we would if we were doing a seated decline or incline curl, okay? So that's not what we want to do. So we're avoiding pain and dysfunction or damaging the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, only hitting the bicep. So that's mind muscle connection, ladies and gentlemen. You always want to target the muscle, and if you're doing any movement, and you're not feeling it in the target, well, you're either doing it wrong or that movement's just not for you. So if that sounds good to you, you want to learn more, click on the link down in the description. You'll learn a lot more about the programs I offer. I hope this was helpful for you today. I hope to see you soon again. Dr. Mike Deuce at MTFU, and you have a great day.